Well, hello everybody. Good to see you once again. Thank you so much for joining us on Family Matters. My name is Winnie Lubemba. Now, today's episode, we highlight the story of one Peter Mwke who has seen it all. In life, he went through a very tough time, grew up without knowing his real parents and lived in the streets for a very long time, got caught and was taken to the juvenile detention. So he went through a really, really tough time during his, growing up. But he's here to highlight his story and, of course, to give you hope and tell you all is not lost. In as much as, yes, you might start your life on a very bad note, or you might go through a very difficult moment in your life, Peter is here to tell you, I have seen it all, and now that I am here, all is possible. So stick around and, of course, get to understand Peter's story. But before that, before we even take a look at his video, we want to say thank you so much for voting for us on the Best Watershed Compliant Company. Yes, we scooped an award that is the Kalasha Award. So thank you so much for voting for us. And of course, keep it tuned to GBS TV and of course, enjoy more of our program. So before we even continue with today's episode, I have a lovely panel with me today. So let's get to meet these wonderful people that I have on set today. Hello, guys. Hi. Good to have you all look radiant, eh? Funny, what's up? Anyways, thank you so much for making time to be with me on studio today. So we'll start with you. Just introduce yourself, tell us your name and what you do.
Yeah, my name is Mwke, Peter Mwke, aka Mwke Msadi. I do music. I work with street kids.
Okay. Yeah. Karibu sana. Mwke Msani, yeah? Okay. Hey, madam.
Hello, everybody. I'm Catherine Musuku. Okay. I'm a counseling psychologist.
Good to have you on set.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Hi, Pastor.
Hello.
Long time, eh? Where were you? Ulienda wapi?
Nilikuwa nimeenda kuhudhuria mkutano wa vijana.
Okay.
Yes.
And we're glad that you're here.
Yes.
Okay, so just in case someone is tuning in and thinking, who is that gentleman on set? So just tell us your name.
I'm Pastor James Chogo. And today I'm happy also to be together with you again.
Okay.
Yes.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
All right, so for more detailed information on Peter's story, take a look at this video. Everyone wishes to be born of a mother and a father, and more so, a family to be raised in. No one wishes where to be born, how to be born, or even where to stay after being born. But what if you find that you were given out for 400 shillings when you were born, not knowing your biological parents, not even your original age, nor your home background? Having been born and given out, Peter Mwke found himself living with his foster parents at a very young age.
Mwke joined the school in the year 2003 at the age of probably 9, although nobody is very sure about his exact age. But that's the age that was given when he was registered in St. John's. And as a young boy, he used to have very many challenges. Issues of indiscipline would be rampant in his school life. And one of the things was that he was a truant mostly in the afternoon. He'd come to school, attend school, and then after that, in the afternoon, you'd be looking for him, he's nowhere to be found. We didn't, as teachers, understand really what that was about, but only as things unfolded later on is when we came to understand about the life of Peter Mwke. But during the day, he was a student like any other, but after 2 o'clock, he was a street boy. Go scavenging for scrap metal, doing odd jobs here and there. And one of the things that he got into is that because scrap metal is not easy to come by, there's a lot of competition with the other children. So they resorted to stealing. And one time when they were stealing, because they had done that several times, they would even go to garages and steal. They'd go and destabilize the watchman by doing funny things. When he's chasing them, some others come into the garage and steal. So one time, I don't know whether to say it's fortunately or unfortunately, he was caught.
Peter Mwke opted to go and steal metal in garages instead of staying in school and studying like other children did. He did this for a very long time, not remembering that the days of a thief are numbered. One fateful day, as his routine, he woke up his gang members after hearing, but quickly some refused and they had to go alone, the two of them. but unluckily, some refused and they had to go only the two of them. They were not lucky this time. Truly, their day to be caught had come. He tells us more.
After when you join street, your family nga continue kuishi na street, na nilikuwa na feel so happy. Nilikuwa tuseme na hiyo family ilikuwa ni kubwa, ala bado still mali tulikuwa tunaenda kuomba food, walikuwa ni kama familia yetu. Wanakuja wanatutreat, tunaomba food, wanatupatia, washatupatia, yani kuna venye wanatutreat na feel ingekuwa na mother. Sasa kama ananitreat hivi na si mother yangu, ilikuwa ni poa sana. Nga continue kukaa hivyo venye nilikaa, kakuaga bado nakuja shule saa 8, nimekacha, nimeingia kurokota scrap metals, hivyo ngaendelea hivyo. Walimu wako wanajua form yangu sana, ingalau kuna mamode walikuwa wanaona nikibeba gunia mtaani, lakini bado wako wanasema kitu, sababu hata mode akijua kunisupport itakuwa ni ngumu sana. Sasa ngaendelea kuishi hivyo venye hiyo maisha street na kuja mtaani. Sasa hivyo nikiendelea, scrap metals zikakuwa ni ngumu kupata. Sasa ikakuwa na still saa 10 usiku, kuna ile muadhini anadhiniki saa 10 usiku, ukisema Allahu Akbar, na mimi naamsha squad yangu, wewe amkeni tunaenda kuiba. Tuka continue hivyo. Siku moja tukaiba kwa garage moja. After hiyo garage tumeiba, best yangu akaniambia niaje, kuna garage nyingine. Lakini before tuende kuiba, nilikuwa naamshaga hiyo squad yote, sipoamka na kuambia sitakubaia chai. Sasa siku ile ilikuwa funny sana, kila mtu alikataa kuamka wale wengine. Sasa sisi wawili ndio tulienda, wakasema ni sawa hata msitubaie chai. Ilikuwa funny sana. Yenye tulienda tukaiba kwa kwanza tukutosheka, tukaficha mali. Alafu sasa kanipeleka mali hapo pengine alikuwa ananiambia kunipeleka huko jo, ndio 40 yetu ilikuwa imefika. Tuliiba, tukaiba, baada tutosheki. Sasa kumbe tulisikika. Yenye tulisikika, ama watchman wakaungana wenyewe kwa wenyewe, kama alikuwa mmoja akaita mwingine wakakuja kama watu wawili na madogi. Sasa wenyewe walitushika, wakatufunga mahali. Sasa wenyewe walikuwa wametufunga mguu na mkono. Kuna venye ile kibrother tunaweza funguana, lakini hatukuwa tunaaminiana kama brother, sababu unamwambia nifungue, hata kunifungua. Huyu mwingine ananiambia mimi nimfungue, na nikimfungua atanitoroka, na nataka tushikwe sote pamoja. Sasa ikawa tumekaa hapo mpaka asubuhi, lakini ile vita tulipigwa, tulijikojolea. After hapo huo msee mwenye garage akakuja asubuhi akauliza, kwani hawa watu mko wachoma? Ikakuwa sasa hiyo ni mchana hizi tuchoma. Tukekwa ndani ya boot, tukapelekwa kwa police station. Wenyewe tupelekwa kwa kambi ya police station. After hapo tukapigwa, tukaambiwa tupelekane mahali tunauzaga. Tukaona kuna mahali tukipelekana kutakuwa ni shida, sasa tukupelekana hapo. Tukapelekana kwingine kwenye tunapelekaga makombo. Zile tunapataga tu zile kidogo ndio tutapeana. Sasa kupelekwa hivyo, tukapelekwa Shauri Moyo jioni. Sasa hiyo mchana mzima tukalisha huko kwa kambi, wanajaribu kudiscover kwenye vitu tunapelekaga. Tukapelekwa Shauri Moyo.
Mwke escaped death by a whisker. They were to be burnt alive, but God had better plans for him. He was then taken and remanded to Shauri Moyo police station after being caught, which later followed by him taken to child court, then sentenced to juvenile school for several years.
Sasa kupelekwa kule Shauri Moyo, tulipelekwa sebe kitu 6 na huko watu wanakula 5. Hapo ilikuwa jo tricky kwetu, watu walishakula jo. Sasa sisi tumeingia huko kwa cell, tunapata watu huko na stress, watu ni wengi alafu si ndio wadogo. Sasa venye tuliingia, kuna msee alitoa food. Huyo msee mwenye alitoa food naye ni kama alikuwa anasikia njaa, alitoa maziwa na mkate, lakini ni kama alikuwa na stress. Sisi ni udogo yetu kwanza tukaanza kumbuli, wewe hebu leta hiyo chakula, tutakukula. Tukachukua sisi na sisi ni wadogo, tukambuli, tukachukua hiyo chakula tukakula. After hapo tukakontinue, tukapelekwa kotini mara kama 3. Unaulizwa na judge, ni kweli uliiba? Nakubali, ni kweli uliiba. Ngapelekwa sasa kwa family nyingine Getadhuru. Kuna ile center sasa, ile ndio ina supply hizo products zingine. Yenye nipelekwa pale tukakaa kama family like 1 month, kama 3 weeks hivi. Wakani release. Siku ni release, kuni transfer sasa kwa hizo zingine, kama wakanipeleka Machakos. Sasa huko ndio nilipata good family. tukaishi kwa hiyo approved, walimu walikuwa socialize, yani tunaongea mpaka huko ndio nilikuja kujua language ya Kamba. So unajua Kamba ndio nililea. Sasa huko ndio nililea kuongea Kikamba. Hata sasa nikisema mimi ni Mkamba mmoja wa kuongea Kikamba through hiyo familia yenye nilikuwa nimekaa nao kwa approved school.
Peter's story might seem a little bit complicated but inspiring at the same time. His date of birth is not known, but what we know is that he was sold by a stranger for a mere 400 shillings to the only parent he ever knew. She loved and raised him as one of her own and even provided education for him, spurring jealous feelings from his foster brothers and sisters. Regardless, life for him was easy as mom always had his back. This would soon change when his mother died, apparently for a reason he blames himself for.
And from what he tells us is that they were really beaten by the watchmen and they were tied up. And the watchmen decided that they would take them to the police station, who in turn handed them over to the juvenile remand centers, where he was sentenced to go to the juvenile remand homes because of the delinquent behavior that he had started out with. Generally, when he was in school, he wasn't one of the students whom you say would stand out because he wasn't reading, he didn't know how to read, several other challenges that he had in him. But one of the things that would stand out with Mwke is that issues of indiscipline, running around the class, doing things that you would associate with a student that was unruly. So that is what most teachers remember about Peter Mwke. And unfortunately, as some would term it, when he went away, there's always the relief that somebody who has been disturbing us has gone, because he had really been doing things that would work up the teacher and make the teacher feel very uncomfortable. Especially new teachers, they would really cause mayhem when the teacher was in the class. A student could throw something on the floor, make funny noises. And because the teacher was not used to that kind of environment, they would be really disturbed about what was happening.
After 3 years ndo wakani release. Yeah. Kuni release ilikuwa what happened ni kuna 2007 wenye election ilifanyika, kuna watu walikosa place ya kuenda. Wenye walikuja wakakolektiwa, ikawa tu nimeletwa hapo wameletwa rescue center, ikakuwa ni rescue center hiyo Machakos Rehabilitation. Sasa ikakuwa wale wako Machakos Rehabilitations wapeleke kama Wamomo wapi, yani wapigwe matransfer. Sasa mimi sikupigwa transfer, walinibeba neo gari walikuwa wanapiga watu transfer, wakapeleka file yangu town, wenye walipeleka hiyo file yangu huko kwa prison na kuna mad files zinapelekagwa, wakani release hapo. Sasa kun release hapo jo ku come back to the community. Sasa sina mali daenda, lakini still unajua watu walikuwa wananijua na kuna wale walikuwa wanajua story yangu, wale walikuwa wananipigia. Sasa kukuja nikaanza kuwa nacheza football nini story kama hizo, na ndio ngapata friend of mine wakanipeleka tuseme hapo kwa hiyo ice factory fulani ya ice nilikuwa naishi. Hiyo factory nikakuwa nala kwa freezer hapo, bado nilipatiwa kalave sababu wale manibas walikuwa wananipenda nini, mpaka nilikuwa na mtu naweza muita madhe. Hapo nilikuwa napata yani love. Hapo tunaishi kidogo, tuna weekend tunaenda kazi nini, naenda shule, na zingine sina do, wananisupport kama wazazi wangu.
When he finally returned to school, instead of going back to stealing, he sold small snacks to earn a living. With the little that he got from the small business, he engaged in music as a way of spreading the plight of street families. His story has touched various people, from the rich to the poor, to the able and disabled. He owes his music career to Alphonse Makoha, who allowed him to record in his studio even when he had far much less than the required amount for recording time. To give back to the community, he decided to nurture other people's talents, especially those in the streets. He is even planning to start a studio in his house so as to ease the cost of his ambitions and others.
Hiyo place nilikuwa si ati ilikuwa ni place ya kulala, ni factory. Sasa ilikuwa inanibidi tu nalala juu ya freezer. Na ilikuwa ni poa sana kutoka kulala chini kwenda approved. Unajua approved si kwetu. Sasa nikiwa street nilikuwa nalala chini kwa veranda. Sasa nimeenda approved sasa at least nimelala kwa bed kiasi. Sasa nimerelease sasa kwa hapo, kwa hiyo freezer nilikuwa na feel niko poa nikilala kwa freezer kivyangu, yani inaona ni improvement. yeah.
Kutoka chini hadi juu.
Sasa ngaya continue, naenda shule, nafanya nini. Sasa hapo ndio life yangu ilikuja kuchange wakati walikama wakafunga. Hiyo factory ikafungwa, sasa ikakuwa sina mahali pa kuenda. Na kuna mzungu fulani nilikuwa sikuwa poa kwa class. Sasa huyo mlami nikakuja ngamwambia, sina mahali pa kuenda. Ile place nilikuwa nakaa imefungwa, nini, sina mahali pa kuenda. Sasa unajua na yeye mzungu hakuwa anajua story yangu. Hakuwa anajua what happened about me, lakini alikuwa ananipenda sababu nilikuwa active sana kwa ndio class ya wale watu wajui kusoma. Sasa akapigia group, kuna zile group sana wako nazo. Akapigia group ya kwanza akauliza kama wanaweza pata place mtu anaweza lala. Ndio akapigia group ya pili akauliza kama wanaweza pata place. Hiyo group ya pili kasema inaweza pata place. Hapo ndio nikaenda kwa kidogo ngalala kwa hall fulani walikuwa nayo. After hapo ndio wakafungua kama dormitory. Kwa sasa hapo ndio ngapata ma brothers sasa. Brothers sawa, sababu kuna ule mwenye anacheza ball, kuna ule musician kama mimi, kulikuwa kuna ule actor, producer. Sasa yani tulikuwa tunaishi brother ile kabisa, kumekuwa vitanda kama 8. Tunaishi sisi sote pamoja hapo. Sasa wase wengi unauliza day by day, where do you come from? You don't know your mom, you don't know your dad. Ukiangalia birth certificate yangu imeandikwa mother's name X, father's name X. Watu wengi uniuliza, lakini alikufa? Nakwambia sijui. Akowai sijui. Unajua mahali anaishi sijui. Lakini mimi huwa na appreciate my mom cause hakunifanya abortion. Alinizaa, na vile alinizaa mimi husema hata nikamuona naweza mu appreciate sana. Every day by day watu uniuliza aliendaga wapi, yani about my mom, lakini mimi mali yuko labda nijui. Lakini mimi nasema hata nikimuona siwezi muuliza question yote cause alini show love kwa kunizaa. Hiyo ni love.
Well, that was quite a story. It caught me almost shedding a tear. But yes, that is Peter's story. And like it said, this is not only Peter's story, but so many guys out there go through difficult times. In life we go through different challenges, different, trying moments. But from what we saw from Peter's story, that is a really, really inspiring story. So I believe that through the first, video, you were touched by his story. But then again, he's here to tell us more on his story. So Peter, let's get back to you where, yes, seeing your video and all that you went through in life, and you had a very, very tough life, but here you are, all smiley and saying, what, all is not lost. But just watching your story, how does it make you feel? Do you feel that you ask God so many questions? Why did you allow me to go through this? Why did you, make my parents, I don't know, did this to me? Do you find yourself asking God that question?
No. Every time I see my story, I'm so happy because through my story, I make it through music. People they like me because of my story. Yeah, I thank you God for what happened about my life.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm still doing good and I'm still helping each other. And the street kids, I have a group, it's called Slum Avenue for the youth in the community. Yeah.
Okay, so you believe that, it's always said that in everything that happens to us in life has a reason and has a purpose. So you believe through your life and the experience that you went through, it is one way of, speaking to people out there, ministering to so many souls and telling them, what, all is not lost, it is okay. Yeah. Okay, but let's talk to you, Madam Catherine. Looking at Peter, he had a very young, fine, at a very young age, he was sold for 400 shillings. And he is now a grown-up man, and we're thinking, as a child, the parental love is very, very important. So we're saying, let's talk about why most parents would abandon their children, because like we've seen so many cases where, these parents are like, I don't have money to raise my child, and I don't want my child to go through a very tough time. So I'd rather just probably sell them or, give them away. But what is that main reason why most parents would choose to abandon their children?
Okay, Winnie, I would first start by saying that there is no parent who would like to sell their child. No parent would want to do that at all. There are the circumstances that they find themselves in that will make them actually sell their child. There are questions that they may really have to go through, ask themselves several questions, think very deeply before they make that bold step. And in most cases, you'll find, as I've said here before, it could be because of lack of finances. Okay. So you find this parent is not able to take care of this child, the child is suffering, she is suffering or he is suffering, and they decide this is a child that can be better off elsewhere. Two, you may find that this is a young girl, got pregnant, is so scared of the parents, and because of no experience, they just decide, I'll just throw this child. I'm safer having thrown this child than having this child. So there are many other circumstances that actually could lead into throwing of a child or selling of a child. But I would want to say that it is something that really bothers, disturbs, and stresses one. Even as that child is away, this is a parent who will not have any peace at all. They'll be disturbed, they'll think about this child. It is actually psychological torture to have your child not with you, that you've actually given him or her away.
Peter grew up without knowing the real parents and all that. Let's talk about some of the effects of, growing up without a parent and the effect that it can be on a child's life.
Okay, as we look at the effects of on a child about separation, it depends. We have to look at, there's temporary separation and there's extended separation. Like Peter's, that is extended separation. You may have temporary separation, and that will have a different effect. The extended separation will have a totally different effect. Then number two, we'll also look at the age of the child. How old was that child? That those who are quite young and that those who are older. Now, you'll find that now that will be pegged on those two, and you'll find a child having certain disorders. So you'll find they may have anxiety disorder, and this anxiety, if it's not resolved, then it may get into depression, which gets worse. You may find that those children who may just withdraw, they withdraw completely, they will not want to play, they will not want to eat, they will not want to socialize, and so on. You'll find that those who may have behavior disorder, which we may look at a little later, the details of the behavior disorder. However, you may find that those children, despite that, they'll go on with their lives. Those are the children who are actually independent. They may be even more independent than before. And this is because of maybe a very high self-confidence in themselves. You may have those who have very high self-esteem. I was just sharing with Peter, and I saw a lot of that. Very high self-esteem, his confidence is quite high, and he's ready to do anything to actually become a better person. So it doesn't mean that any child who is separated from a parent is doomed. No, there are those who will come up very well. Okay. Like a good example is Peter's.
True. Just getting from him, in fact, seeing him for the first time, but not think that he went through it all.
Yes, you can't.
That he went through. Okay, and talking to you, Peter, fine, you're really, really confident, and you think, yes, you know what, in as much as I went through this state in life, I believe that I am supposed to go somewhere. But then again, I believe it's not all rosy in life. At times you can get ups and downs and all that. And we're thinking, fine, and right now, you don't have, let's say, your parents to talk to, you don't have brothers and sisters to talk to. Do you at times feel that you miss that parental love? You wish that I wish someone was there, by my side to hold my hand, to give you a shoulder to cry on? Do you really at times miss that?
Sometimes I sit with my friends. I live with some guys in my house where I live. I don't think because I never get love of my mother or my sisters and brothers. Like the love I get from the people I'm around with them, I feel so happy. Okay. Because I never think I can see my mama, I can be a good life, what. Like the people I sit with them around, I feel so.
Okay.
It's okay.
Do you know, I think it figures a point in life where the boys become so close to the mom,
yes,
and then the girls become so close to the dads. Don't you miss that?
I mean, sometimes, some years ago, the time I was in street, okay, I was thinking, I miss my mama, because I see if I want shoes, they go there, Mom, I want shoes. They get shoes. I was missing that time. The time I grow, I come to realize it's not, I never see him. Also, I take to normal. Yeah.
Okay, Pastor Chogo, can I get your account on what he's saying?
Actually, I can say one thing. God has got his miracles, wonders. And in each and every person's life, God would like to reveal himself. God would like to show that actually he's the one who takes care of human beings.
Okay.
Actually, when we see in the life of our brother here, if he can think or if he can compare himself with those who have parents, yes, he can be discouraged. But in this case, now we are at the point where we can say that truly God is our Father. Then we don't have another father, because if there was no one to take care of him, but at this point, I believe that there are people who have parents, but even they don't even do what? Live the same life you are living. I think even though I was brought up with both parents, but I started wearing shoes when I was 12 years old. So some people think like this: if you need everything when you have parents, sometimes those who have parents, they also have time to regret also.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, when I can think, there is only one thing that we need to value in our life. Those people who can actually value God as a precious thing, the life that God has given unto them. When God can give us a life, then God has prepared each and everything in our life. That's the reason why those who have realized his providence, they can glorify him. And I believe that the reason why God allowed this kind of life, God really wants to give you a testimony. So that through you, many people, whenever they can listen to your testimony, no one will deny God is there. And God has promised us, before the end of the world, no one will be having an excuse. Meaning that God will reveal himself in all means. So I'm very happy also to hear about you, and I would like to tell you, you don't need to forget God who is taking care of you. You don't need to look into yourself. Only remember, there is the one who is taking care of you. There is the one who protects you. Yes.
May I add something?
Okay.
Peter says that he lacked a mother and a father. I didn't hear you mention father. I think more of a mother than a father. You do not need to have your biological mother to get that love. You can have a mother figure, a father figure. I remember when you were sharing, you told me how the first lady who took you was such a mother. She was very good to you and loving. So as you go on with your life, you can attach yourself to a mother figure, to a father figure. And that is why you find that there are even certain children who have their own biological mothers, but they're not able to cope with them. And then you find such a child will easily cope with somebody else, maybe their mother's friend or their mother's siblings and so on. So it is not a must that you have a mother. You can have a mother in somebody else, so long as you're positive about it.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The way he's saying, even me, I have many parents. Right now, what I'm talking, I have many mothers, many fathers. You know, they treat me like I'm a baby of them, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And then let's talk about your life in the streets, where you said when your mother died, your foster mother died, and then you had to go to the streets because there were wrangles, you know, among you know, let's say your step brothers and sisters, and then you had to go to the streets and live, and then you formed a group that was more or less the same as a family, you know, just to fill the void that you felt in it. And then you went to school and then became a very rebellious child and all that. And I was asking, do you feel that you were very rebellious, let's say in school, because of the love, or there was something that you felt you missed a lot and you needed someone or you needed attention, but then you didn't get that? So being rebellious, you know, got that attention.
Yeah. You know, in school, the time they call people to bring parents, I don't have a parent. I'm the parent. I go there, I say, I'm the parent. I want to sing for the parent.
Okay.
You know, sometimes I used to do crazy things. People, at least they know me.
Okay.
Yeah. And to be, I wanted to be people, they look at me, to be attention of me. That's why I started very early in school, singing class, doing some crazy stuffs,
Yeah, your teacher said you're very rebellious. The children are busy studying, and then he's busy throwing papers and all that. And you're thinking, could that be, a feeling that he needed someone to fill that void?
Yeah, actually, what he was suffering was what we call defense mechanism.
Okay.
He lacked something. And therefore, he was seeking attention, that I'm here and I want you to know that I'm here. Because the other children have attention. He doesn't have anybody who cares about him. So the only way you'll actually know that he doesn't have a parent is by him doing what he's doing, so that he's sent home and that he comes and tells you, I have no parent. I am the parent myself, just the way he puts it. So it's just a defense mechanism which is allowed in psychology and only becomes bad if it is overused. But if he doesn't overuse it, it is allowed, you have to go through that. And if it's taken care of, then he'll go through it very well and he'll surpass it just the way he did. He went through it and now he's fine. But if he hadn't worked on it, then that would actually have damaged his life, especially school life. Yeah.
Okay. And then, Pastor Chogo, the fact that most of us find, in as much as we might not go through the same experience that he went through, we have our own issues, we have our own problems, and most of us tend to really blame God and tell God, why did you allow me to go through this? Why would you bring me such challenges and all this? So the question that we ask is, why does God make us go through all this situations in life?
Actually, when God really want to show his love, God wants to reveal himself. Actually, for the past 3 weeks I've been out of the country, and it happened I met now one pastor, and he told me he's going to be a missionary in India. He had both parents, and he had a lot of problems, more than what my brother is saying, and my sister is trying to explain something. As he was explaining, he said that he was lacking something because he was rejected, not with the parents, but with the community. Okay. You can have parents, but the community also can make you to be in a certain situation that you cannot even feel that you are not even allowed to stay in this world. But as he stayed, and it came to happen that the mother of this pastor received salvation, and when he received salvation, he guided him to receive salvation, and when he received salvation, now he started to understand why God was guiding him into this way, because in the end, even all the family has received salvation, and now things have changed. The community has welcomed them, and now he is now the one who is changing the community now through his testimony. That's the reason why when God is doing everything in our life, God has a purpose why he does this. But God, actually, when God created us, he not created us to suffer, but God created us so that we can enjoy each and everything that he had prepared in advance. But the only thing that God would like to do to us, God would like to introduce us to our own heart. This is the most important thing, because most of us, we don't know even ourselves. That's the reason why we can blame God. But the most important thing that God is trying to do is to introduce us to our own self. When we can realize who we are, then we can only rely upon God. Actually, I can say like this. All human beings who are in this world, they're just like miserable. They're just miserable. And actually, they are like orphans. When we stay in this world, we are like orphans. That's the reason why when we can understand about ourselves, the only way we only need is to rely upon Jesus Christ. We only need to rely upon God. We need, all of us, whether rich or poor. I don't know whether you can allow, I don't know whether time is enough. I would like to read one verse in the scripture.
Sure. Okay, as you find your scripture, can I talk to Catherine a little bit?
Yeah.
Where it is said that you cannot give what you don't have. And for instance, Peter's story, he didn't have parents and all that. And of course, he's a young man growing up. And I believe one day you're prepared to get married and raise children and all that. So I think most people, who've gone through the same, as him will be like, okay, fine, I am scared to even start my own family because I don't know how to raise a family. I didn't see my father, raising us up. I didn't see my mother raising up us up. So I really don't know how to go about it. So is it possible for him to just raise his family, okay, or probably, I mean, he doesn't know how to raise a family because he didn't get that when he was growing up.
Probably you're talking about maybe a role model in his life.
Yes.
And I would say family actually is the first role model in anybody's life. And the family influences the values and the experiences that we actually go through. That said, I would like to say it is not a must that you have to go through family to have values, to have those experiences. And when I'm talking about values, probably I would just give a very basic, simple example of families that we've had and still they may not have those values. Like for example, you have a mother, father in the home and children, and when they wake up in the morning, this father or mother does not even say hello. Okay, depending on your culture, there are those, the children are supposed to say hi, or it's the parent who's supposed to say. And you find neither the child nor the parent says hi, good morning mom, good morning dad, probably makes a mistake and they can't even say sorry. Those are very basic values. You give a child something and the child cannot even say thank you. So you find that their parents will instill value in their children from the very beginning, that it's very important to say thank you, it's very important to say I'm sorry, it's very important to say good morning. And those are the children, when they go out there, they'll value that and they will respect people and they will know that they're the ones who are supposed to greet people. Now then, such a person gets married, now I'm using your example, gets married, you marry that person in such a family. I mean, what's the difference between you and that person? Because there are no values that were instilled in him. So you are okay, like your wife, you are telling her, please be sorry about this, and she will tell you no. Why should I be sorry? Because she doesn't value such. But you'll find a parent who has instilled that from the very beginning, and the children know. It just automatically comes out. I'm sorry, mom. I'm sorry, dad. I'm sorry, Peter. You see? So it doesn't mean that you must go through a family for you to get that. Even minus that, it all depends on how the kind of person you are. Like the way you have very high self-esteem, you will decide this is the kind of family I want to raise. And because of the experiences that I've gone through, I do not want my children to go through the same. You are going to think big. Thinking big will help you. And the way you are, we've interacted with you, you're thinking big, that this is what I want. This is the level that I'm focused to. And then also having some positive mental attitude. I went through this life. I am not going to allow my wife to go through this. I am not going to allow my children to go through this. And that is where at the very beginning I told you that separation can be negative or can be positive. So you can make it positive by promising yourself that no, my children will not go through this. By you saying that I'm determined to make a difference in life. And just as we shared and you said, I want to make a difference in people's lives. I want people to look at me differently. I want to help that child that is watching me, that child that is on the street, so that I change him. So the same way, when you get into marriage, if you have the same attitude, then you'll be very positive and you'll find life will just be smooth for you. Thank you.
And then we saw from Peter's, from the video that we prepared, Peter saying that in as much as I went through all this, and I have so many questions, who is my real mother, who is my real father, and all that. But he said something that really caught my attention, and he said, even if my mother comes right now and says, I am your mother, I'll not even ask her anything. I will just forgive her, because in the first place, she did not abort me. She, gave birth to me, and yes, did not raise me, but she gave birth to me. And I'm thinking, is it really that easy to just forgive and don't ask questions?
That's forgiveness. And it's again about attitude. He's determined. He's ready for anything. He does not know why the mother actually gave him out, whether she threw him, whether somebody snatched him from her. So he's very positive about life, that if my mother walked in now, I will accept him. I will accept her, sorry. So forgiveness is very, very important. And I think as we grow up, I think it's a big task. And when you forgive, that is happiness. Forgiveness brings happiness. It brings relief of the heart. because that is a burden that you're carrying. When you do not forgive, if you are carrying that, it's you who is carrying that burden. The other person is not carrying the burden. That is extra energy that you're using and negatively. If you could use that energy positively, and you can only use it positively if you just forgive and say, let go. This is my mother. Let me accept her the way she is. You'll be a better person. It shows adulthood. It shows maturity. Yes.
But is it really that easy to just say, you know what, I forgive you? In as much as you did this, you did this, you did that, let me just forgive you. Is it really that easy? In as much as the Bible says, forgive 70 times, times 7. Is it, we're human at the end of the day. Is it really that easy to just forgive and let go?
As he went to study, he has been helping people, but as he dealt with the people, he was only dealing with the mind. He has never thought of the heart is the cause of everything. He did not thought that actually when somebody's heart is changed, then everything, even his life will be changed. And that's the reason, when he came to realize about his heart, that's the reason why he was born again, and now he believed in Jesus Christ. In fact, I told him I want to invite him to our station, and I think that very soon he's coming to testify about his life, and I believe that through this, in fact, he has this got a heart that is going to help many people, not only within the mind, even with their heart. And I believe like this, when you talk about forgiveness, there is two kinds of forgiveness. There is the forgiveness which can be done in the mind, but not in the heart. And there is the forgiveness which can be done in the heart. Actually, most of the people, they deal with the mind. Even when they talk about everything they do, even though they can say they hate somebody, they can hate someone in their mind, but not within the heart. But when we can actually know our really heart, and God has been always dealing with our heart is evil. And our heart, actually we are the people who are very far from God. But God, through his love, he's trying to draw us near unto him. And that's the reason why I can say to my brother, when he can see how other people, who actually is not part of their family, but they took care of him, it means what? In the rest of his life, he's the one who is going to deliver all this kind of love to other people. And I believe that with him, as he will be delivering this kind of love, because he will be thinking of what other people have done unto him. Yes. Okay,
so we need to end the show right now, but Peter, you are a musician and you sing inspirational music to, you know, give people hope, to encourage people and all that. But there's this one question, in as much as you went through all the tough times in life, what keeps you going?
First, I'm looking at my people in the street. You know, every time I wear good clothes, I found in the street, in the road, I feel I was like him. Yeah. That's why every time I want to go far, not going down every day. Yeah.
Okay. So, and of course, you told us that you're involved in, you know, nurturing talent and all that. Yeah. So, can you sing to us just one verse briefly before we end the show, because we need to end the show right now.
Bonga 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 na dadi bonga 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 na mwenyezi bonga bonga bonga. That's the group I started. We nurture talent. It's calling Slam Avenue, Kabandai.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much, guys, for coming over, and of course, you know, helping us tackle this issue, because, like we said, it's not only Peter's story. So many guys go through tough times in life. So can we get your parting shots? You know, just words of advice, in 1 minute. 1 minute, maybe 30 seconds. From you, let's start with you.
For me, everything you're going through, never regret. The way situation it may come,
deal with it that way. Okay. Maintain a positive attitude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Peter, I would say, as I said before, think big. Maintain your high self-esteem, self-confidence. Forgive. Whether you're forgiving with the heart or the mind, first and foremost, you have to forgive. Then when you sit with your mother, as time goes on, you will understand her, and thereafter now do the rest. But the most important thing is forgive and love.
All right. Yeah. And to the parents who, you know, finally say, yeah, you know, it's because of this, this, and this, that is why I abandoned my child. Is it really justifiable?
Parents, as Pastor said, these children come from God. God will provide. You do not need to abandon your child. You do not need to throw your child. Get that child, have that child, and God will provide whatever means that you'll use to actually feed that child.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Don't throw away your child. It's a gift from
Don't
God.
throw away your child.
Okay. Pastor Chago, briefly.
Okay, I will request my brother. As you sing, I wish in your songs, I wish if you can sing this songs which can praise God most of the time. Secondly, I want to request you, don't trust in yourself. You will hear many people, they will advise you, trust in yourself. When you will trust in yourself, you will be cursed. Already you are cursed. Trust in the Lord. Bible says that those who trust in the Lord, those who wait upon the Lord, God will provide to them good things. So this is what I would like to request you. Don't trust in yourself, but trust in the one who has been taking care of you. And as you sing, don't try to praise people, because God does not share his glory with men. Praise God, because where he has taken you up to where you are now, you can think of it and praise him.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much, guys, for coming to the studios today. And thank you so much, Peter, for sharing your story. Because like we said, so many guys go through tough times. But I believe through your story, so inspirational, so many lives have been touched.
I have one thing to
Okay.
say. At least you challenge me.
Okay.
I tried to talk English today.
Oh.
For me, it was amazing.
Okay, so that's an achievement today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an achievement.
Okay, give me a high five. Okay, all right. So we'll see you some other time. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, it's Family Matters. And remember, in Family Matters, it's always matters family, because families matter. So, and I believe through Peter's story, you've been touched. It's quite an inspiring story. He's such an, very confident young man, went through tough times in life. But here he is today to share his story and give you hope, to encourage you and tell you all is not lost. So what we're saying is, in as much as you might go through tough times in life, it is there. So many of us go through tough times, but it's the attitude that you have. And if you learn to maintain the positive attitude, I believe you will waddle through the waters and come up victorious. So we'll see you some other time. God bless you and stay safe. Bye-bye.